Hey guys, welcome to today's video on my top diet tips on a budget. So you're trying to lose weight, and losing weight, it can actually be more expensive than not losing weight, even though you're eating less. Now why is that? Well, there's a lot of gimmicks, there's a lot of products that are advertised to people to help lose weight. And really they're not necessary, and they're just going to, they're going to cost you a lot of money, and they're going to have very small effect on your overall weight loss. So for example, protein bars. Now, there's good protein bars and there's bad protein bars. But what most of them have in common is that for their price, they're not worth the actual grams of protein that they contain. So, typically a protein bar is going to have 20-25 grams of protein, and if you, instead of buying those protein bars, which can be a few dollars a piece, if you bought protein in bulk, whey protein, or its vegan equivalent, whatever you prefer, if you buy it in bulk in a large bag, and you actually work out the price, per gram of protein or per scoop, that's going to be a lot more efficient. You're going to save yourself a lot more money, and it's healthier as well, because if you have protein in powder, then you can mix it with other things. You can mix it with your oatmeal if you're having that. You can mix it in a shake. Obviously you don't want to go too crazy on the shakes. It's easy to make 1,000 calorie shake. Put in peanut butter and bananas, milk. But a good protein shake will be to use water instead of milk. Or if you do want to use milk, then obviously skimmed 0% fat milk. But yeah, putting that protein in powder form is going to work out a lot cheaper. I mean, if you go on somewhere, there's various places on the internet. I've bought from My Protein before, and they're fairly cheap. You get a large bag of, quite a few kilos of whey protein, and get one that's not one of these, one of the fancy flavours. Just get like vanilla or something like that, because then you can mix it with lots of different foods. Okay, so buy protein in bulk. Don't buy protein bars, because it's going to add up. Even if you have one a day, it's quickly going to add up. And whilst the protein might cost more to begin with, you're going to save yourself more money long term. Okay. So another thing is, don't fall into the trap of buying these fat burners and all that kind of thing, because fat burners are first thing, they're ridiculously priced. If you look at the ingredients in them, most of the time, the main ingredient that's having any kind of effect is caffeine, and the rest of it is it's not proven to have any real benefits. Green tea extract is another one, but I mean, you can buy a huge box of green tea for next to nothing. So spending $60 on certain fat burners, it's not really gonna increase your weight loss enough to justify the price. I mean, the way these work, most of them anyway, is it's just by the caffeine. The caffeine's increasing your heart rate, and that's the only thing that's causing you to burn more calories, just increasing your heart rate, which is not particularly healthy to begin with. So another option, instead of buying these fat burners, pre-workouts as well. Pre-workouts is another one. I mean, it's not necessary. There are ones that don't have calories and things, but again, it's the same as the fat burners. It's the caffeine that's having an effect. All the other ingredients, they're not really doing much. You're just paying a huge premium, to buy some fancy pre-workout drinks, when a much better option, it's probably going to have at least the same effect, is just to drink a coffee before. 30 minutes before you go into the gym, drink a black coffee, and that's going to have probably the same effect as any pre-workout out there. You know, it's going to increase your performance in the gym 5 to 10%, something like that. You know, you'll be able to lift a bit more, you feel a bit more energized doing the cardio. But you know, half an hour before you go to the gym, so it has time to get in your system and take effect. I mean, how much does you know, one black coffee cost you? You know, because you want to drink it black ideally if you're on a diet, because obviously you don't want the calories and things from milk and sugar. Obviously sweeteners, yeah, you can get away with some sweeteners, but you know, just drink black coffee instead, or green tea. Green tea actually has high caffeine as well, so that's another good option. You know, obviously it's got many health benefits as well, green tea. It's one of my favourite. I often drink green tea when I'm, you know, not feeling like drinking coffee. So, you know, you can save yourself a huge amount of money not falling into this, you know, I need fat burners, I need all these protein bars. You don't need anything to lose weight at all, really. You don't even need to go to the gym. You can just do diet alone. Obviously, having access to all of the equipment at the gym, especially for weight training, I mean, it'd be pretty hard, you know, to get the same amount of equipment at home. You know, you could buy yourself a bench or something like that, or some basic dumbbells, and you can do a lot of exercise with those. But going to the gym, I mean, these days there's cheap gyms, you know, that are long, you know, $10–15. There's 24-hour gyms, things like that. So, you know, it's worth going to a gym, I think, as long as it's not too high price, you know, because of the huge range of equipment on there. So I wouldn't say don't go to the gym. You know, that's probably a worthwhile investment if you're serious about losing weight. You know, having access to all of the different machines and things and different forms of cardio. You know, I don't like running. Never, you know, I've done running. I got to a point where I was running about 10 miles a week, something like that. But I never enjoyed it. I was always injuring myself, you know, every couple of weeks, you know, pulling muscle or straining, you know. So, you know, going to the gym, I could do, you know, rowing or swimming or something different, you know. So, you know, keep going to the gym. You know, don't worry about cancelling your membership to save $10. You know, that's neither here nor there. You know, if you've got a little bit to spare, you can afford it. But things like protein bars, for example, one protein bar a day, that's going to be like 3 times your gym membership in a month. So, you know, that's where you're going to save the money. Like I said before, the pre-workouts as well. Fat burners just, you know, it's a ridiculous gimmick. You know, there's no need to buy those. You know, these kind of things, they're only really of any use whatsoever if you're, you know, an athlete, or, you know, perhaps if you're training for a bodybuilding competition and you want everything, you know, on point. You know, you want those, you know, 2 or 3% increases in performance, and you're willing to pay for it, you know, when you're doing that kind of thing. But if you're losing weight and, you know, you're just trying to, you know, save a bit of money, I mean, all that money you can invest in something else, you know, that can make you money, save your money up, and, you know, invest in stocks, property, whatever it'll be, you know, because all of that money, it adds up over the years, and you never need any of this stuff. I mean, whey protein is one, I think, that is worth the price, because often if you work out the price per gram of the protein, it's often lower than food, especially if you've bought in bulk. It will be cheaper than you know, chicken, you know, for the price. And obviously whey protein's easy to prepare. You know, you just chuck it in a shake or in your oatmeal, whatever, cereal, mix it in, and there it is. You know, it's easy to up your protein intake when you've got that, when you use whey protein, because, you know, a chicken breast, you know, it might be 30 grams or something of protein, but, you know, 1 scoop of whey protein is nearly 30 grams. You know, it's a lot easier to eat 2 scoops in a bit, or, you know, in a shake, than it is to eat, you know, a couple of chicken breasts. And obviously you've got to cook them as well and prepare them and everything. So, you know, stick with the whey protein. I would suggest, you know, buying that. Another thing to watch out for is organic. Now, organic, it's become the popular thing these days. You see all of these the fitness influencers, on Instagram, with showing you photos of all their organic packaging. But organic, it's not perfect organic. You're paying a huge, premium there for organic, because it's a lot more expensive than regular food. It's not organic. So, and the thing is, it says organic. That means they've not sprayed it with pesticides or anything. But often there's still pesticides and chemicals present in the soil. So the plants and things, the vegetables, the fruits, they can still be contaminated from years ago, because the soil was contaminated that they're using. So, they can put organic on it because they're not spraying it or anything. But if the area that it's growing in has already been contaminated, then, you're paying, all that extra money, and it's not really organic, is it? Obviously it's better than directly spraying the foods. But, it's still, it's not 100% healthy like people think. It's still quite possibly contaminated. I'd say a large portion of almost all the, organic fruit and veg, it's still got, traces of these chemicals and things in from years ago. So, just to what's contaminated in the soil, because that's going to be there for the next 20 years. So, it's not, I'm not going to say it's not worth getting organic, because obviously your health is the most important thing long term. If you can afford it easily, then get it. But otherwise, for fruit and veg and things, it's not that important. There is a list of, the most sprayed vegetables and fruits. I think it's like the top 10 most contaminated or something. But if you Google that, then perhaps just those specific ones you could, you could buy organic. Coffee is one of them, I think, and tomatoes as well. So perhaps those few, the most contaminated, most, treated fruit and veg, then you could buy those organic and buy the other things, regularly. For chicken, animal produce, that kind of thing, it's a bit different, because obviously when they're injected with all the hormones and things, it does cause cancer long term. So, they're a lot more, it's a lot more worth it to buy the organic chicken meat, because just to avoid that getting in your system, because obviously they're injected with all this stuff, antibiotics and things, and that is going to affect you. That will affect your health long term. I mean, it's so if you can afford one of the two, then definitely buy the organic animal produce instead of the organic vegetables and fruits, because that's what's going to cause you the most harm long term. But again, it's a lifelong thing there. In the short term, it's not going to cause you any harm whatsoever to eat the regular kinds. So if you genuinely can't afford it, or you just need to put your money aside for something else, then just save. Don't worry about buying organic, all this and all that. It's a small, it's for the long term. I mean, for right now, when you're on your diet, do you need everything organic? No, you don't. So don't worry about that kind of thing. If you can, do it, but it's not necessarily, organic food and normal, non-organic food, it's got the same amount of calories in it. So, for weight loss, it's the same. So, thanks for watching the video, guys, and I hope these tips helped, and I'll see you in the next video.